In this video, let's implement the main method, which is create update cart in the cart repository. Whenever we are working with repository, we will need two items with dependency injection. First is the DB context, and next one is automapper object. You can either implement those. I will just copy them from the repository inside product. It will be the same, so we will copy this, close that and paste it here. Go back and just minimize the product API so that you are not confused. We'll add the using statements and we'll change the constructor name to cart repository. Perfect. Now what will be the logic for create update cart? The logic will be something like this. We will first check if the header is null. If the header is null, that means we don't have any entry for header or details. So we will create the header as well as details. Next, if the header is not null, then we will check if the details has same product. Because what can happen is they already have an item in shopping cart and they are just updating their quantity. So in that case, we will just update the count. And if the details does not have the same product, then we will create the details. But before all of these steps, we have to make one more check. We have to check if the product exists in database. If not, we have to create that, because if you remember, we are maintaining a replica of the original product inside the shopping cart database as well. So everything that we received will be a cart DTO. We will have to map that to shopping cart. So here we will create a cart object with the using statements and we'll say cart is equal to underscore mapper.map. Map that to a cart object. We will convert the cart DTO to the cart object. Then first thing we have to check if the product exists in the database or not. So here we'll say variable product in DB is equal to underscore DB dot products dot first dot default. We will say u goes to u dot product ID is equal to inside cart DTO dot details. This is an IEnumerable, but based on our implementation, it will only have one object, because when we are creating or updating the details, we will only pass one details. If you think about that, when you go to the home page, you can go to the details page of a single product, and from there you can add an item to the shopping cart. So there won't be a scenario where you will be adding multiple items to the shopping cart in a single call. So inside the cart details, there will always be one item. So you can do either 0 here, or we'll use the first or default. That will retrieve the first item. In there, we have the product ID. Let me break this down in multiple lines here. Once we get the product, we will check if prod in DB is null. This means that the product does not exist. We have to create that. So underscore DB dot product dot add, and the product will be inside cart dot cart details dot first dot default. In there, the product will be populated. Now, whose responsibility it is to pass all of these details, that will be our main project, which is mango.web. So right now, think about everything inside the cart DTO will be populated. So all of the details will be present to you. You just need to update the database accordingly. Once we make this change, we'll say underscore DB dot save changes asynchronous. We will add the await keyword, and with first dot default here, we will use the async method. We will add the await keyword. Looks good. Next thing is we have to check if header is null or not. So let me retrieve the cart header. So we'll say variable cart header from DB underscore DB dot cart headers dot first dot default. We'll use the async method here, and let me add this in a separate line. We'll say u goes to u dot user ID is equal to cart dot cart header dot user ID. Based on user ID, we'll try to retrieve a cart header. if the cart header is null, so if cart header from DB is null, then we need to create the header and details. Now here we can say underscore db.cartHeaders.add, and we will be adding cart.cartHeader. Once you add the cart header, we will save the changes underscore db.savechanges async, and then the cart header here will be populated with the new ID that is created in the database. So using that ID, we will be populating the cart details. So we can say cart.cartDetails.first.default.cart header ID. This will be cart.cartHeader.cart header ID. This will be the new ID that just got added to the database. So we will assign our cart details that ID, and then we will save cart details. So .add, and we will add cart.cartDetails.first.default. We will only do first.default because it will always have just one cart details as we discussed. After that, make sure to save the changes again. And this looks good. Now if you examine the cart details by pressing F12, you will notice that inside cart details you also have this product object. That product will be populated, and we already took care of creating that product. So right here, if we try it again, it might give error message. So before you add that to the database call, make sure that you set the cart details.first.default.product to be null. If you don't do that, Entity Framework Core will try to add the product as well, and it will conflict because the same product with that ID has been already added. So perfect, this looks good if the cart header and cart details are brand new. So if the cart header is null, we add the header as well as details. If the header is not null, we have to do more steps. Let's do that in the next video.